Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here. It is Monday the 21st of January. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Don't forget we're kept free of charge by the adverts that you see around the screen. It's when you come back and use the adverts, use the site, that's what generates revenue that keeps us free of charge. So thank you for doing that. Well, the cold weather continues. Certainly was a snowy one yesterday across the country, and looks as if it's going to be chilly this week. Big question mark though is how this thing breaks down at the end of the week, and does it indeed break down? That's the big question. Is it really ever going to be breaking down to any extent? Well, I think it probably will do a little bit, although how much is open to question. Let's just go through the charts then. This is the oh, by the way, the Japanese Met Agency's long-range forecasts are in for the next 3 months. I'll do another video about those because it would be too long to put it onto these, but I'll do another video about that. So keep checking back to the site for updates for that, and we'll have a look through and see what they think. Anyway, this is the 7 to 10 day mean of the 500 millibar flow going from next Monday through to Thursday the 30th. And thing to notice, ECMWF is on the left here. We've got the GFS on the right. ECMWF has this deep trough look out towards the west, as does the GFS. So this is this these just deep trough, these lower than normal heights towards the south of Iceland. And what that's doing is it's just compressing in the jet that's blowing through here, and it means that the UK stays on the cold side of the jet. However, by now, by this sort of time, temperatures probably at the surface will have warmed up to some extent. We've lost much of the block up towards the north, although it's still sitting there, you can see, across the pole. Needs to look for that to coming back southwards for the cold air to be returning. But well, this is still a cold pattern for the British Isles, although it's a far more unsettled one and a far wetter one too. So this is the pressure charts then from the GFS model for the next few days. Let's just get back to the beginning for you, and there we go. So this is this afternoon. We've got this easterly feed coming on to the eastern coast of Scotland just at the moment. That's what's bringing snow up there, but it's down towards the southwest that we need to watch for a little area of low pressure forming. So we've got that easterly flow look continuing across eastern Scotland, northeast England through the course of today, bringing further snowfall. But then watch out towards the southwest here. This here is a little area of low pressure that's developing, and during the course of tonight and into tomorrow it becomes a little feature all of its very own look, and it puts up this area of precipitation. This is the 6 hours to 6 AM on Tuesday morning, but this area of precipitation here is likely to be falling as snow, and some fairly heavy snow too. And you'll see there's a snow video elsewhere under the featured channel section of the site, snow forecast for Tuesday, so go and check that out. But it does look as if it's going to be parts of southwest England, Wales that see most of it, perhaps the Western Midlands as well. But we could find a period of snow that could bring 10 to 15, 20 metres of snow across southern parts of Wales and also across the hills of parts of southwest England. Particularly I'm thinking at the moment Somerset, Wiltshire, Gloucestershire, so go and check the video for that. But looking ahead then, we stay in this easterly flow as we go through Tuesday. Look, some precipitation kind of just mixing around the southern coast, so some outbreaks of sleet and snow there. Snow as you get inland, just sleet on the coast. And this easterly flow continues to bring further snowfall to eastern parts of Scotland and parts of northeast England. Then through Wednesday, staying in that easterly flow, so things remain cool. And I think what we're going to notice, particularly tomorrow night and also Wednesday night, is how cold it's going to go at night. We could be seeing temperatures -10s to -14s over the snowfields of much of central northern England and also Scotland and Wales during Tuesday night and Wednesday night as well. So this is the position as of Thursday morning, and then you can see a ridge of high pressure is in. I think we could find some freezing fog patches northern England, North Wales, parts of Scotland too, and this northeasterly flow just bringing in some snow showers onto these eastern coasts. And then what the GFS wants to do is it wants to kind of warm things up a little bit. It wants to bring the flow back into the southwest as this area of low pressure moves in on Friday. And what it then wants to do is to slip cloud and rain eastwards through all parts of the country and bring much milder conditions in for the weekend, making it wet and increasingly windy and much milder, with a risk of local flooding in places, particularly with a snowmelt, but widespread gales. This is the chart it thinks for next Monday. Very windy, you can see there, with the isobars very close together. Now, will that happen? Well, no, I don't think it's going to happen quite that way. You know that I've been favouring the Canadians, the GEM model, over the last couple of weeks, and I still go with this idea. They seem to be handling this much colder weather far better than anybody else. So this is their chart for today. Let's just go forward in 12-hour steps and get forward to the weekend and see what happens. Interesting to note, by the way, look, that's their area of low pressure down over northern France by the midnight Tuesday into Wednesday. Hey, just go back a little bit further. Here it is, look, coming its way south eastwards into the early part of Wednesday through Tuesday into Wednesday, and that's what takes the snow across the southwest on Tuesday. But through Wednesday then, the low is still to the south. Look, it clears away eventually, and what we find is this northeasterly flow setting in. Excuse the weather wolf in the background there. Of course, you do all know now that by the mention of snow, that's what he does. He has to have a bark at the mention of snow. But anyway, there's the northeasterly flow coming in on Thursday. There's the ridge of high pressure that we just spoke about, bringing the risk of fog across northern parts of England and also Scotland. Then let's think about the breakdown period. This is Friday, so that's Friday from the GEM. Let's just get Friday up as far as the GFS is concerned, and there it is. Look, southwesterly flow on both, southwesterly on both, although look, the source flow on the GEM is down here, so it's a much colder block of air that's still in across England and Wales. Now that means that anything coming in from the west that starts off as rain, when it hits the surface, such as down here, is quickly going to be turning to ice. So we are looking at some freezing rain conditions. Widespread ice could be a problem come Friday afternoon. Then let's just take a look forward now in towards Saturday. Look, notice how this is midday Saturday on the GEM, this is midday Saturday on the GFS, and you notice how on the GFS the flow is right up here from the southwest, look, bringing in milder, wetter conditions, lots of mist, lots of smoke, pretty horrible. But the GEM still has its flow coming in, originally originating across Eastern Europe, so it brings in a much colder flow, and it leaves that colder flow across England and Eastern Wales. Now, and Eastern Scotland as well, I should say. Now, I think that means that we'll have lots of mist and murk. Yes, I'll take that. But also, it's going to be a very cold day with a strong south or southeast wind, widespread ice becoming a problem as that rain moves in. These more western areas under relatively milder conditions by then, or no, not lasting long, look, because we've got this colder air coming back in from the west. Then we take a look into Sunday, and it's not until Sunday afternoon that the GEM finally breaks through and gets rid of that cold air towards the east, but it doesn't last long, because here we go, look, you see this flow here digging in from the west and the northwest into the Atlantic. Now we've got this trough here, so this feature will be moving quickly eastwards, but as this digs in, what it could do is just deepen out that trough here, sweep that further eastwards, and then dig in the trough from behind. But the overall message is that conditions become milder, certainly compared to what they have been. And then by next Monday, similar charts between the two. So we've got both the GFS, there's the GFS, there's the GEM, look, both going for far more unsettled conditions, both of them calling for, let's just get the right day there we go, both of them going for this deep blow up towards the northwest of Ireland. The GM got it a little bit further west, but a little bit further east, but when you compare those two, really there's no change between those two areas there, and very windy and very wet as well, and milder compared to what we've had, but this is going to be a cold day. And then as that low passes its way north and eastwards, so we find we stay with this unsettled southwesterly flow, more rain pounding into the country and becoming very, very unsettled. So I think what we've got to look forward to next week is probably the snow going, probably being cold, and by cold I mean daytime temperatures 5s in the south, 2s and 3s in the north, snow over the hills, frequent periods of rain. We could be back to a localised flooding scenario during next week as that westerly jet stream kicks in. And you notice that even by the last chart that the GEM has on, look, it's still bringing in this westerly flow, and we're still on the cold side of that flow. But what's interesting about this chart right at the very end for the 31st, which of course is on Thursday the 31st, so it's a week on Thursday, look what it's doing, starting to try and build a ridge back into the west again. This is exactly the scenario we've just been in. So this ridge would then build further north like this. Eventually a high comes up here like this, and we get into a colder northeasterly flow. Be interested to see how that develops. I think that we will see only a brief milder spell before we go colder again in the early part of February. And again, I stick with this idea of the 10th to the 15th of February before things really do start to become milder. So, loads of information there. Apologies if it's bored you, if it sent you to sleep. But anyway, thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Don't forget, we're kept free of charge by the adverts you see around the screen. By you coming back and using the site, that's what keeps us free of charge. And also by telling your friends about us as well. And you can follow us on Twitter at Weather School, or do a search on Facebook for Weather School as well. Don't forget to tell your friends about it, get them to follow us, and get them to come and visit the site. So once again, thanks for watching, and keep the sun shining. And don't forget to look out for the longer range map, for the longer range video later on. Bye for now.